Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Coyote Cast. Today, we have a very special guest. Please put your hands together, give a very warm welcome for Clayton Lenhart, my friend Clayton Lenhart, everybody. Clay, nice to have you here. So this is your first time, right, on the show?
This is my first time on this side. Yes.
Wow. That's very special for you.
It is when I heard that I would have the opportunity to be on here, I jumped at it.
And I can see why. So, I hear you have some special materials prepared for us today, a little bit of history, a little history lesson for everybody on a culinary adventure.
About the McDonald's you're talking about.
Oh, okay. McDonald's.
Don't act like you didn't lead this in. About McDonald's. Yeah, I mean, I'll give you some background. I ate at a McDonald's this morning for breakfast for the first time in probably 7 years.
And how do you feel after that?
I felt fine. I didn't overeat. My sandwich was very good. So I'll tell you what I got. I got the sausage McMuffin. They have a limited menu right now because of COVID. I feel like I remember eating this like steak and egg
That's a good one.
thing, like the steak egg bagel or something like that.
That's great.
But that's no longer on the menu. So there's
That's
actually only
disappointing.
there are like 6 or 7 items. Basically, it was just like McMuffins and McGriddles, I believe, which are the pancakes.
Yeah, they have like that syrupy kind of taste in them. I'm not a big fan of the McMuffin really. Now,
Really
is that the kind that comes on the English muffin?
comes on English muffin.
Yeah, I'm not English muffins make me uncomfortable. There's something about them I just don't like.
That you should probably see a therapist.
The English muffin therapist.
Yeah, I'm guessing that stems from your childhood. You
Yeah.
probably were beaten with an English muffin as
I
a child.
I think it might be a little bit of like I don't like how the outside is so like gritty. It's like
Yeah, a
it's
little
like
sandpaper-esque.
it's sandpaper on the outside, and then the inside gives me like that tryptophobia, like with all the little like bubblies.
Well, I don't look at the inside when I'm eating it usually, but I
I
mean,
just know
so
from
so
like
so you don't like eggs Benedict either.
I've never had eggs Benedict.
I feel like what you get with the muffin is like the nice crisp outside with a
Okay.
nice soft inside. You're
All
getting
right.
multiple textures. Anyways, little fact, here's your history.
I'm
Now
jumping right into it.
this is going off of memory, but in the 1970s, a McDonald's franchisee in California actually invented the Egg McMuffin, and he thought of it as Eggs Benedict to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I take that back. I have had eggs Benedict, just the McDonald's to go version.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Unfortunately, no crab version at McDonald's yet.
so this morning,
Yeah. So let me walk you through.
What made you get up and go to McDonald's?
Well, I was working this morning. I was at work at 6. Had a little 30-minute break at 8. I got some Starbucks coffee. The McDonald's is right next to the Starbucks, and then so I went from the Starbucks to the McDonald's. Notice I actually didn't get the breakfast sandwich at Starbucks, which I sometimes do.
I've actually had a lot of the Starbucks breakfast Sammies. That's what I'll go for on my lunch break at work.
Yeah, they're not bad. It's just they come out of like a plastic bag and they get thrown in the microwave for like a minute.
And like they don't hide that at all.
No,
like,
they just take it like right out of the plastic bag.
Yeah, I know. You're like, well, I could have done that, but I guess I'll pay $8 or whatever for it.
Right. It's kind of expensive. It's a little bit, it's not as McDonald's, they're back there. It's a labor of love, I hear. They're back there.
That's what I've heard as well.
they're putting them together by hand. It's probably that hand's probably been up their nose in the last half hour, but they're gonna touch your sausage patty, and they're gonna put it in the muffin and deliver you a good product.
It gives the food a story, you know. It adds character to your food.
Speaking of which, I ordered, and not 30 seconds later, that McMuffin was in the bag waiting for me to pick it up. They're fast.
30 seconds.
Maybe a minute, but it was very, like, I barely got
impressive.
my credit card. I was like just putting my credit card back in my wallet.
Okay. If they're running the limited menu, they probably like, you know, they've got these things ready to go. And that's like the original idea for the McDonald's. It was just like burgers and shakes or whatever. I don't even think they had shakes. They just had that slide of like burgers coming to like the people at the counter.
I haven't seen this slide. Is like a conveyor belt of burgers or what?
No, so like they had just like a room in the back where the people would assemble them, and it was like an assembly line.
Yeah, okay.
Done. They put it was just like a big metal like tilted shelf.
Okay.
They just like throw it up there and it just like slide down. They'd just be waiting on this little slide so the cashiers would just pick it up and just
there's like a little hole between the cashiers and the people making the food. Well, now you see the people making the food. There's like a manager up at the front that just like throws everything in the bag. They're like looking at the screen and they throw everything in the bag, and then they just like turn around and put the bag on the counter. It's a pretty smooth operation.
Yeah.
But I will have to say it was a good sandwich.
But you didn't go for the McDonald's coffee.
No, I didn't. Sometimes it's the McCafe, actually.
Just the plain coffee.
Sometimes it's pretty good.
I agree.
Sometimes you're in the mood for that kind of. Sometimes you need like a Speedway coffee.
Oh yeah, definitely.
McCafe.
Back when I was working, up at that place, you know, at my last job in town. I don't want to start naming businesses where I used to work or whatever.
All right.
But you know, we'd have super slow days where, you know, sometimes I would see nobody come in. And it was days like those when I would just like, before I'd come in, I'd stop at the McDonald's and I'd get the 2 cheeseburgers, the fries, and a McCafe black coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And it all just like, it works so well together. I just sit in the back and just like drink that coffee and take a bite of the burger and read my book and just be silent in there.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice.
Now every time I eat McDonald's, it brings me back to like a slow day at work, but you know,
a nice memory.
It was like working at a library, but it was a store.
Well, hey, those kind of jobs are not too bad. You have plenty of time to think, as you say.
Oh yeah.
You're just kind of stuck in that spot, but you know, at least they're not too taxing.
Got to read all of Flea's memoir. Shout out to,
how was that? I never read that.
Do you have it?
No.
I'll let you borrow my copy. It's pretty entertaining.
Nah. Yeah. I'm sure it is.
He really focuses so much on how music had an impact on his life and like his early childhood, like all the musical things that were happening around him and like how it made him feel.
Yeah.
And then like the last page is like, oh, and then I met Anthony and we started the band.
It's kind of wild. So it's all done before he's like 13.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like I'm pretty sure they met in high school.
And it wasn't like, yeah, but they didn't even like do any band things. It was like so much of them just like screwing around. And then they're like, man, we should make a band.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I play the trumpet.
And then he became the best bass player of all time. Actually, that might be a stretch, but
yeah, you're right.
A lot of people like that guy from Primus.
Yeah.
What's his name? Lenny or Claypool or something, or
Honestly, I don't know.
Look, I don't know. I'm not even gonna look. But
Yeah,
he's supposed
put
to
it
be
in
a
the
good bass player
comments.
too. I like Thundercat. Totally different style of
He just had
bass,
a
but
birthday recently, like last week.
Thundercat did.
Yeah, shout out to Thundercat. Happy
I haven't
birthday,
been
man.
keeping tabs on him.
Yeah, well, he watches the podcast, so
He's a regular.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's fascinating. I've read Scar Tissue, which is Anthony's book, which kind
Anthony,
of
he had us
he
like
does talk about his childhood, but
he moves
yeah.
on pretty quick, and he like I don't know. I remember reading in both books their account of the ski trip that they went on.
I
They
don't
like
remember that.
I now okay.
I do
Now
have
that
one
I
I want
say
to
I've
ask
read
you about if it's in Flea's book though.
I
But go ahead.
although I say like I've read this um two different accounts of it. I can not remember what happened now, but like it was like neither of them had any skiing experience or whatever, I think. And then they both just like got on this bus, went up to the hills to ski, and they like stole all the ski gear and like were probably high off their minds. Like
Nice.
then they like escaped on the bus or whatever and then like got arrested.
Really?
I think so.
I don't remember that story.
There was something
Um,
about them stealing and a ski resort.
trying to remember. So Anthony talks about jumping off of apartment buildings into a pool.
Yeah, they
Was
talked
that
about
with
that.
Flea?
Mm-hmm.
Did Flea talk about it? Because I'm pretty sure one of them missed and almost paralyzed themselves.
I think Anthony did.
Okay.
And I think Flea wrote about that. It was like a mutual friend of theirs would just like constantly be talking them into this stuff. I can't remember who that was. Probably somebody in the early days of Chili Peppers, though.
Not Hillel.
No, he was
When
pretty
did he
mellow.
come in? He was
High school.
mellow? I thought he was like the vision behind the band. I mean, I guess he could still
Yeah,
be mellow,
I
but
mean, yeah. I don't think he was like doing any like jumping or anything. I don't remember.
interesting.
I'm gonna burp.
Interesting. I don't know. I really want them to release an album. They were supposed to release an album this year, but
I keep hearing
clock's ticking down.
like accounts online of like people saying like, oh, they've got stuff coming soon. I'm like, when?
Yeah.
When?
Well, Frush just dropped an album.
That people like they keep having pictures together, like they've been together.
I think they played a show and then I mean, they were supposed to play several festivals this year and then
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
Corona happens.
Well,
But
darn it.
their first show was at like a middle school in LA.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw that. That'd be pretty wild.
Can you imagine? You know how
No, they
teachers
I mean they
act like
probably don't
during an
even know what's
assembly?
going on, but yeah, the teachers are probably like all jacked up.
You know, like so and so's class line up at the door first, it's like to go see the Red Hot Chili Peppers in the gymnasium.
Yes.
And like when they do that thing when like everybody has to go back to the classrooms and they're like sixth graders leave first, and everybody stands up and they're like sixth graders leave first.
The same thing. They blow out the mic like that. That's pretty accurate.
I hate assemblies.
Really? They were great.
I don't
You got out of class for a while.
I don't know. You just get out of class to go see some dweeb most of the time.
I don't know. A lot of them were decent.
Do you remember that guy who came in? I don't know if it was a cop or just some guy. Some guy came into LB and talked for like an hour and a half about how nudes are gonna ruin your life. And then like
Wait, yeah, I think I actually do remember that.
he like told all these stories. Like I think he was an older guy and he's like telling all these stories of like random girls or whatever, and like how older guys would end up with the pictures and then become sex offenders, and like how like then they couldn't get a job and all this stuff, and then like the next day like everyone's like I'm never sending a nude again. Like they're all like freaking out and stuff. I'm like, what? Like that's all it
Yeah,
took
that
for
was
that
a
guy.
strange. That was a strange one.
That was really weird.
I just wondered like what the thought process is, like who at the school was like they're like looking at their schedule and they're like, oh, we need to book an assembly. And then that was the topic that like came to the fore. They're like, what could we improve in the school?
They're always like all the assemblies I've ever been to. I mean, and it's just me. They're always like trying to like inspire and like or like fix something.
You know what was inspiring though? But they
What
actually didn't invite like any of the school there. Like they invited one class.
what was that?
Somebody got I'm pretty sure a Holocaust survivor spoke because um
Yeah,
what like sophomore year we read Night, like the
yeah,
Weasel book. I'm pretty sure a Holocaust survivor came and spoke, and it was pretty inspiring. And they like didn't actually plan it to be an assembly, and then people like just started like leaving to go listen to it, and then they like
yeah.
kind of like people came down like halfway through.
I think I remember showing up and sitting like way in the back and like
Mm-hmm.
missing most of it. And it was strange because I thought I knew who it was because when I was in middle school at Findlay, we had a Holocaust survivor come and talk. And he was like so cool and so fun.
Yeah,
And then like I went to this one and I was like, oh, I bet it's just the same dude. I bet he just like is kind of local. And it was a different dude. I was like, this is crazy.
that is kind of crazy if there actually are multiple Holocaust survivors in the
In the area.
Finlay area.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. It was strange. But yeah, that like that's something cool. And like I think assemblies should be like that. And it's like, I don't know, I think it's kind of like you leave like with like a bad taste in your mouth, like when you go to those ones and they're like, listen, if you start driving drunk, you're gonna kill everybody. And you're like, oh
yeah,
God, like stop trying to scare me straight.
yeah.
Like,
It kind of like makes you want to do it just because.
yeah, you're like, oh, I didn't
Well,
even consider
not
it, but
drive drunk, but yeah, it just
like, what
makes
was
you
that
like want to
assembly
rebel.
about? Drive drunk? Was was that it?
Yeah, I know what you mean. We used to have some really good Veterans Day
Oh
assemblies
yeah.
in like elementary and middle school. They would
Yeah.
have like a lot of veterans like come in, like a lot, and they'd have like a speech, but then they would do like videos and stuff, like almost like World War II propaganda would like play for a while. Then somebody would come up and speak. It was actually pretty awesome.
Did you ever have to sing for the veterans?
I'm sure probably in choir or
That
something.
was like our thing in elementary school. It's like the entire elementary school would stand up and we'd sing like I don't know what it's called, like all the military like anthems or whatever they
Oh,
are.
they always played. Somebody always got to play taps, and that was like a big honor.
Yeah. I remember in elementary school they brought out these old like military buses and they probably weren't even like real. They were probably just like something some dude in Finley like painted green. And like they had them like parked out front and like all the students would walk through them.
Mm-hmm.
And they had I remember all these bumper stickers on the inside of one with like a bunch of profanity, and the old dudes in there were like, hey, like, bet you don't know what that one means. And we were just like, which one? And like, just like, and the teacher's like, keep walking. We're like, all right. Like these old dudes are like trying to get us to look at all this stuff.
It's funny.
It's kind of strange. I remember being a little bit creeped out in one of those buses.
Why?
It was just weird. Like, it's like we didn't even have an option. They were just like, everybody walk through the bus now. Like we're just like looking at all this like smelly green stuff.
What are you drinking?
Orange, citrus, oolong tea.
Drinking some yerba mate. Okay, that looks bad. It just looks like a bag of.
You're just gone. Oh, there it is. Put it in front of your face. Wait, why is it just in a Ziploc? What is it?
Because it came in a nice bag. Like, I don't know if you've seen the brand. It's yellow. They sell the teas like to go, like the yerba mate.
Bigelow?
No. No, like they specifically sell like yerba mate. Can't think of the
Lipton?
brand. No, it's like it's like a
I don't drink fancy people tea.
it's not fancy people tea. It's just from South America. But
Sounds pretty fancy to me.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm just drinking some of that because I don't have any regular tea.
That's okay.
You know the song Sweet Leaf by
Yeah.
Black Sabbath?
Yeah.
It's
With the
about
coughing at the beginning.
It's about yerba mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least that's what Ozzy said.
It's not about weed.
No, I'm pretty sure it's about yerba mate.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've heard that.
Yeah, so it's been known for a while for its mind enhancing benefits. Yeah, the tribal tribal people used to use it.
Do you feel enhanced?
I would say so. I don't know why I put a little shot of apple cider vinegar in there too. So yeah, it's an interesting little drink.
You know what I've been doing?
I took a scoop of maca before.
I haven't had maca.
Try it.
I've been gargling. What's that stuff?
Water, salt water.
No, not
this. Lysol said Lysol.
The
Listerine.
God, why am I blanking on it? I'm so sorry. Hydrogen peroxide.
Why?
Just cleans out your mouth. You mix half hydrogen peroxide, half water. You just put it in your mouth and you just start swishing. Just tastes like water for a while.
You should also put baking soda in that.
Just keep swishing it. Just keep swishing it. And after a while, your whole mouth tastes like hydrogen peroxide and there's like nothing you can do to get it out. And then when you spit it out, then your whole mouth just starts foaming up. It's a good time. And afterward, you just feel so clean.
You just feel like you had rabies for 30 seconds.
Well, I've been told I have a very clean mouth by many people, which is honestly impressive in this day with all the masks and everything. But I get around.
Next question.
Yeah, so you wanted to talk more about the history of McDonald's.
How we moved on from the history of McDonald's.
I thought that's what you came to me with.
What?
That's what you had prepared.
No, I read the Wikipedia page for McDonald's, all of their menu items that they've ever had this morning. And let me tell you, there were a lot of items.
Are there any that stuck out to you?
A lot of items. Like they did all kinds of, like they did fried chicken. They did pizza. They did a whole pasta, like fettuccine, spaghetti.
Well, you know what part of that was?
Ravioli.
Back in the day when they really started expanding, there wasn't anybody around to keep track of what they were doing at all of these different franchises across the US. They didn't have any way to enforce it.
Yeah.
So they would just do whatever they just sell whatever.
I mean, yeah, the franchise. They also piloted a lot of stuff with just a few franchises and stuff. I don't know. Some of it took off. Some of it, there's an interesting thing. And then just all kinds of different combinations of burgers and stuff.
So.
And a million different chicken products.
One of the things I think that they should bring back is all of the pies they have now are all baked pies. And they changed that. I mean, I think in maybe the early 2000s, because before that, they were all fried pies. Like, yeah, maybe baked is like healthier or whatever, but if you're going to McDonald's, I don't think you care. And
hey, some people just want to eat their McDonald's every day and they want healthy choices.
like a pie. Anyway, there's one McDonald's in the whole, everywhere in the world that still sells the fried pies.
That's it.
But if that one's doing it, why can't the other ones do it?
Who's supplying those pies? Like I imagine if you own the franchise, like you get your food from McDonald corporate, right? Like Ronald
shows up.
Ronald shows up in the truck.
Grimace unloads. There's your pies.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Well, the one that sells it is the one in Downey, California. That's the oldest operating one.
That's crazy.
And when I was there, I didn't know about the pies, so I didn't get one. I had my opportunity.
So you went all the way there and you didn't even get the pie.
I just wanted to eat, at the oldest McDonald's, and I did, and it was cool.
Did you document it or?
Yeah, one of the photos I took is in the gallery page for the Wikipedia for that McDonald's.
Really?
So, a little bit documented. I took some photos.
Kind of crazy.
I mean, anybody can upload to Wikipedia.
Do you upload to Wikipedia?
Sometimes.
Really?
If I feel it benefits.
What do you like?
I've made changes. You just read something, you're like, that's not right. You just go in there and fix it. And then sometimes the changes stay, sometimes they don't.
Interesting.
But I've uploaded reference photos for things that didn't have any photos.
Well, that's pretty cool. You're like doing a world service and doing that.
Yeah.
Wikipedia is nice. I don't know why everybody like every teacher for like 5 years, it was like the cool thing to say that like Wikipedia is the devil.
Here's the thing. Any website is the devil. Like, what are you gonna? Okay, yeah, I get like a scholarly article might be more.
Yeah, but
reliable.
Even those can be made up.
Exactly. You can go to anybody can put anything, on their own website and make it look so real. So why does Wikipedia have to be the one to, take the hit?
That's true.
On being fake.
Wikipedia just provides like a great breadth of knowledge. Like there's just so much, like any topic you want, it's there. Oh, yeah. And they have a pretty good write-up about everything.
And it's like, you don't know what one of the words they're talking about is? Well, it's blue. So just click on it. And then that's a whole nother page of learning right there.
Yeah, the hyperlinks are great.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's how the whole internet should be set up.
Just take you anywhere from any word.
Yeah. So, have you heard of, there's this guy, this internet pioneer who kind of has like fallen to the wayside. But like at one point in time, hyperlinks were not a thing. And there was like this big debate over whether they should do a hyperlink, or his system was like, instead of just like jumping you to the link, I'm pretty sure it like just pulled up whatever that was going to pull up, like in the same.
Like a preview?
Browser basically. Yeah. So like you could preview what was linked before actually jumping there.
And they didn't like that, did they?
It just, apparently people beat him to it. And then he's been like crying ever since about how.
Oh, give me a break.
He thinks that the world's problems are because of like how text is hyperlinked on the internet.
He just needs to take a loss.
I need to find him because he's like this 70 or 80-year-old guy, and he has these like, he still has YouTube pages, and he'll like post videos like trying to say why his method is so much better and how he like got ripped off because he was like the one that invented the format of the internet.
Okay. I feel like so many people are trying to like do stuff like that and it's just too late. Like, like have you used DuckDuckGo?
Yeah, I have Brave. I have the Brave browser on
Yeah.
both my phone and my laptop.
But is
And
that what
sometimes
you
I do
use
use
primarily?
DuckDuckGo. A lot of times I still use Chrome just because it's more convenient.
And that's the thing. It's like, people talk about how DuckDuckGo is better for all of these reasons. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm still just going to go to Google.
Yeah, it is, except the websites will block you now if you don't accept cookies and trackers and stuff. So not all of them, but there's some like I want to say YouTube maybe even has trouble in there sometimes, and a few other sites.
Really?
They want you to run the ads and run the tracking.
I don't really mind the ads. But a lot, I
Like
mean,
pop-ups are annoying, and
pop up, yeah.
they slow your computer down. I guess you don't notice it until you use something else, but there's a lot of trackers that run off of your processing that really slow you down.
What I get annoyed with is the ads that um are wrong. So like, you
Oh,
know,
so like it's a targeted ad, but it's not. It
yeah, they
shouldn't be
got the
targeted to
wrong
you.
keyword
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Oh god, like now I have to deal with this ad all over for something I don't want to look at." That's a problem with disc golf. I watch a lot of disc golf videos.
Mm-hmm.
I shop for discs. I get on YouTube, go to another video, and now I have so many gimmicky golf gadget ads. They're like, this is why you have to use our golf ball. And I'm like, I don't want to see another golf ball. I don't care. If it were a disc ad, I might be interested because that's something I'm in the market for. But like when they get them wrong, that's when it really get like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's an interesting one that they didn't put the
They just see the
disc part of
golf.
it together. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Huh. Where did I wanted to say, I feel like I want to say two different things. One, I like the idea of Brave. I also like their like attention coin or whatever. I think that's a cool idea if it ever went. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Can you remind me? I know it's like,
So like you can opt into ads on Brave
and like you make money off of it
and
somehow.
you make money, you earn a cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
which is basically just supported on the website, but you can cash out in dollars at any time. But you can also turn on a function to, it's called auto contribute. And if a website or like a YouTube page is set up through Brave, depending on the amount of time you spend on their content, it'll just like auto redistribute the coins that you earned to the content creators. So it like pays them for the content. Like I would guess specifically because you're bypassing their ads,
Yeah.
which was kind of another, like when they were debating the internet, whether it should be free or like microtransactions. Of
I mean,
course, we got the free internet where we are the product.
we still have to pay to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
interesting.
they're running tests though, like letting people use the Starlink internet though. I
How's
don't
that
know.
going?
I don't know. I don't know what makes it any different from a cell tower.
I think it's just wider coverage, right?
I guess. I mean that.
It's kind of crazy that they're allowed to have that
I know
like
it.
airspace.
It almost
Like who
seems like
did the FCC,
I have no idea.
like they had to go through the FCC, right? Like because I always found it so weird that they auction off like the frequencies that are in the air. Like, do you know that?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, don't you think that that's interesting?
I think so much of airspace is interesting and how it's used.
But like you can own, at least in my understanding, you own like the frequent, like you own like 810 hertz or whatever it's in.
I mean, isn't that how like a
That's
radio
how a
station
radio
would work?
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to like
You buy
but
that frequency.
they also auction off like airspace for cellular devices, I think too, or like internet providers. So
Makes
like
sense.
all these 5G, like all of that got auctioned off by the FCC.
Who gets the money for that?
I imagine that the FCC is a government agency, so I think that they just pay that organization.
That's so wild.
Because what I always heard about the FCC was just like Eminem yelling at them for censoring records.
Yeah, they're bad.
Like when Tipper Gore and I don't know the other lady.
I don't know.
Probably Cheney's wife. Tipper Gore and Cheney's wife let Dick Cheney's wife. What's her name? Liz Cheney, or is that his daughter?
Oh God, I don't know.
But no, you've heard of that whole thing, like when they came up with the parental advisory sticker, like they were like bringing it to Congress and stuff. Yeah. Interesting.
Back to airspace though. I want your opinion on where, okay. Say you've got a house and you get annoyed because your neighbor keeps flying his drone 500 feet over your house. We're going to go ahead, like, I'm not going to get into specifics because legally a drone can only go 400. But, like say it's high enough to where it's not like, at eye level with you. It's too high up to be zooming in on, you in the bathroom or anything. It's just up there, but you're like, this is my property. Get out of here. It's annoying me.
Yeah.
The next day you're out there and a plane is, 30,000 feet up over your house. Where does your private airspace begin as, a property owner?
Yeah. Do they not have that set? They don't have like a height, like that's so crazy.
Yeah. And that's
can you shoot down a drone?
That's like, yeah, I think you can. And I think in most cases where like, cause
that'd be kind of fun.
It gets into, if the drone's on your property, you can, I guess, have the right to shoot it down. But then, some people you run into, was the drone on their property? Was it on the property line? Why did they have a gun?
That's a good, all valid questions.
I think it usually ends up being like a court case rather than like just a clean cut, like the drone was up there, so I shot it.
I don't know. I mean, they need to define how high you own.
And like,
how far down do you own? Do you own all the way down? I mean, theoretically you do, right? Because if you find like oil or diamonds like in the ground underneath you, don't you own them?
But you gotta call 411 before you dig, folks. Seriously though, like you do own the land. You start digging, why? Like, but you still have to, like, if you live in the city, you gotta call, because other people's crap it's under your dirt.
Yeah.
So is there stuff? Do you own that then?
Well, I mean, technically you don't even own your property, because if you don't pay property taxes on it, you can just get your land taken from you.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
We don't even own the land we live on.
You just have the privilege of living there. You just have the privilege of paying for that land and living on it.
And it's even
until somebody wants to move you, like eminent domain.
It's just all humans thought this crap up and it worked.
Yeah.
It's just
I
kind of
mean,
weird,
like most legal, like legality is just based off of like legal precedents, basically. Just based off of whatever you decided in the past. Yeah, I don't know if you should bring that up. You should. That's what they should get on. They need to define how high into the air you own.
Yeah. Because, okay, if I'm shooting down a drone because it's bothering me in my backyard, can I shoot down the helicopter that's flying over to the hospital now that goes over my backyard?
Right.
That
That's what
happens.
right.
What if they're looking at me while I'm out there tanning? I don't like that. I'm going to shoot
Just
them.
have like an RPG.
That's what everybody thinks.
Javelin missile.
Everybody thinks the drones are creepers.
Do they?
Look, anybody who doesn't like them automatically assumes the worst.
Can satellite images see you like in
Yeah.
your backyard?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of wild, isn't it? Don't you think satellite images are pretty crazy? I feel like people were weirded out when Google Earth was first a thing and like their house was on there.
Yeah. So, okay, what's up with that though? Okay, example, when I was like maybe junior in high school, I didn't have any drone law knowledge or anything. And my mom and I went out in a field like south of town and I wanted to capture the sunset. And so I keep my drone over top of the road out in this country road. And I'm just like going along, beautiful sunset. This truck comes out of nowhere. This farmer dude gets out and he's like, that's your drone up there, sir? I'm like, yeah. And usually almost every encounter I've had with people where they're like, is that your drone? I'm like, yeah. They're like, that's awesome. How high does it go? So
Yeah.
I was expecting him to start like being like, that's awesome. And then he's like, can you see my field from up there? And I was like, is this your field? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, you have to take that down. He's like, you got to delete that video. And I was like, oh, why? He's like, the private property is my field. He's like, you got it on your video. He's like, I don't like that. And so I listened to, I didn't want to start anything, it's just
Right.
like there's a sunset every night. But so I and then I went back to the car and I was like kind of shaking up and I'm like, Mom, this dude is like, just like kind of harassed me about his field being in my video. But this dude's field is all over the internet. You got the streetcar thing, you got the satellite images. Anybody can drive by with their phone and take a video of this guy's field.
I don't think that private property is protected like that, is it? I mean, if you're standing in the middle of a city and you take a picture, you're going to take a picture of a building that's privately owned, right? Somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without permission. I don't know.
And it's like, okay, I get it with some cases. For example, when that new edition to Marathon was going up, they had all this crap all over town. You like, other than phone cameras, like you couldn't get like a camera anywhere near that area without someone stopping you.
Right.
Only because they didn't want you to capture a picture or a video of one of their workers, like causing like a liability.
Right.
Like they were just trying to protect their workers. But with this dude's field, what is he protecting? There was nobody in the field.
I don't know. He probably just wanted to make a point.
And like, what's his point?
That it's his.
How private is your property though? Yeah, I get
his.
that it's his. That's great. I'm so glad he owns
No,
that.
but I guarantee that's all it was.
Yeah, I mean, it just like you said, on private property, like it's not. What does that word private mean? You can't walk on it, but
yeah,
people just get so. People want to complain about something. That's gotten issues more recently with race and everything. People don't like the race of the person hanging out on the sidewalk across the street from their house. Like, this is private property. You gotta leave. It's like, what am I doing? I'm on the sidewalk. That's public. Like, oh, well, you're in front of my
Right.
house.
That's interesting too. Because is the sidewalk public? How does it work in town? Because out in the country, you own generally to the middle. You own to the middle of the road.
Really? In town, it's from the sidewalk to the street is city.
Okay.
So that strip of grass between the sidewalk and the street is it's city property, and you're allowed to put things there. You're allowed to plant trees in that area as long as the trees comply to like the city guidelines, and you're allowed to put signs and stuff there as long as it also applies. Like people were complaining during this last election that people are putting the large yard signs in that area, and I guess that causes some like visibility issues or something. So you can have like the small political signs, and you can have the small trees, and like you can have a certain number of the small trees, but it's still city property.
Very fascinating. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
Did not know.
I mean, a lot of the older streets in town, at least, that's where they put access to water mains. So like in my front yard, there's like a big old pipe that comes right up in the grass right there. They just pop the top off that if they need to. I don't know what's in there. We can find out. That's
Should do
another
that
video.
sometime. Yeah.
What's in Ando's pipe?
That'd be a good one.
Oh boy.
Shades back on.
You getting sleepy there, bud?
I don't know. I've been working weird schedules, so I feel like there's something else I wanted to tell you.
Your camera's having some troubles there when you lean
No,
back.
it's just me leaning back. I just wanted to show off our logo. Can you see my hand?
So when I designed that logo, I was really inspired by the coyote. And so I decided to go with the coyote shape. Because of, the name Coyote Cast. And I thought, what would be perfect if the coyote was howling, because that's what coyotes do.
Yeah.
So that's how I came up with the logo.
Yeah, it kind of is like a wolf, though.
It could have been a wolf.
Isn't it? Because it feels like that's the moon or something.
I think I just pulled like a stock image of an animal and took the silhouette and plopped it on a rock.
Whatever. It reminds me of like the Blue Moon logo, but with a coyote in it.
Well, that's the logo we can put on your kombucha when you start selling it.
Or like the Smurfs.
That's funny you say Smurfs. I was just telling my parents today how much you know about the Smurfs.
Me?
Yeah, you.
I don't know anything about the Smurfs.
There was one time when we had a conversation and you knew the names of certain Smurfs, and I was blown away because I just don't know that. Like, what's the bad guy's name? Oh, he's playing dumb.
I don't know. Maybe I was like brushed up on the Smurfs.
You must have been. I know when you
what is his name?
Unblur your background, you've got like a Smurfs poster back there.
Yeah, I have Smurfette back there and Papa. I feel like I only know like Smurfette and Papa. And
doesn't Smurfette have a boyfriend? Is that Papa?
No, I think that they're all like siblings, but they all are in love with her.
Really?
I think so.
Is there something? Is that weird?
Well, I'm pretty sure they like created her. I don't know. I think if you really research the Smurfs, that there's like some weird like mythology influences or something, and that
Probably some drugs too.
yeah. Oh, for sure drugs, because Yeah, for sure, drugs.
Yeah, yeah, for
No, shoot. Now that you say that, I feel like I did know something about the Smurfs. And I'm really upset I can't think of the cat and the guy's name.
Oh God, I didn't even know there was a cat.
You didn't know there was a cat?
I know nothing about the Smurfs. I have never seen anything Smurfs. I'm sorry, but
Shoot, I don't
just
know. I'm not up to date on my Smurfs knowledge right now. That one must have been deemed like not important in my mind. Although I don't ever remember a time where I was like into the Smurfs. Like I might have read like a Wikipedia page or something or like an article, but
an article like from a Smurf village, like published by a Smurf.
yeah. Hold on a second.
No
Let me
problem.
look up the Smurfs.
All right. We're gonna get in some Smurf lore.
I find that the like the live action things are kind of weird. Gargamel is the wizard.
That's right.
See, I'm pretty sure the whole thing is he's trying to steal Smurfette and like do this like alchemical thing with her and like because he's like a magician and maybe if he can like steal her essence or something.
Yeah, I know he's always trying to grab him, but I guess I never knew why.
Okay,
I thought he just didn't like him.
they live in mushroom houses in the forest. So yeah, that's probably your drug references. They wear Phrygian caps. I don't really know what that is. You probably would have to look that up. Wikipedia. What? Romans used to wear those hats. You know those like weird, like they almost look like Santa caps.
Yeah, it's like a beanie, but worse. Hear these terrible microphone sounds.
The word Smurf is the Dutch translation of the French Schtroumpf,
Which means
which according to Peyo is a word he invented during a meal with fellow cartoonists
not great.
when he could not remember the word salt.
Salt. It means salt.
But it doesn't mean salt. It
It's
just
just some
means salt.
guy. Some guy's word for salt when he couldn't come up with the word salt.
Somebody wrote a parody article on the Smurfs as a way of smuggling socialism into European culture.
Are the Smurfs socialists?
Another sociologist, though, described them as a totalitarian racist utopia. I don't know. I think people have too much time on their hands.
It's kind of what it seems like.
Strofe.
I feel like we'd be talking about it a lot more in school if it actually had some big political background.
Ooh. You know what, though?
What?
How about Dr. Seuss? How about Dr.
What about him?
Seuss? Have you seen any of his like political propaganda like during
I don't
World
think
Wars
so.
and stuff? Did I ever send you that video? There's this great video. It's called like The Dark Side of Dr. Seuss.
I think you have sent me that. I just haven't seen it.
He had like a dark period where he was depressed and there was, I mean, like, you know how everything's so colorful and stuff? Imagine like the world of Seuss.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Imagine the world of Seuss, but just in like black and like dark blues, but like still all the like crazy characters and stuff. But instead of them being happy, they're like depressed and suicidal. It's pretty rough.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like this kind of stuff.
Yeah, like that giant cat that's like playing. Yes, the cat playing pool or something.
He's playing like weird pool and they're on golf tees.
What's Dr. Seuss's name? Like Theodore Geisel?
Geisel.
Geisel.
Geisel. Theodore Geisel. Oh, weird. He's got some type of Escher-esque.
Yeah, like the descending stairs and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of stairs in these drawings that I'm seeing. Probably symbolizing something.
Yes.
Oh, I see his political stuff coming up now.
The political stuff is really cool too. Like he did a lot
Wow.
of propaganda during World War II. Like he did a lot of caricatures of Nazis and stuff. And then I think he also did some stuff during like the Cold War.
Dang.
Oh, that's what they're called. I think they're called the Midnight Paintings. Dr. Seuss.
His weird ones.
Yeah.
Wonder if you can get a book of that stuff. I'd like to have a book of that. That sounds like a cool coffee table book. I want to start a collection of fun little coffee table reads for guests because I always have guests.
Here's a cartoon. It's called With Adolf in Egypt. And Adolf Hitler's on top of a camel. Okay. And he's yelling, "Stop them praying with heads toward Mecca. It's insulting how their other end is pointing toward Berlin."
That's pretty funny.
I don't know.
I like that.
I like the coffee table idea, though.
I think there's a lot of great little books out there that are like just fun to like just open up a page and just kind of look at it. But what do you got there?
This book, I'm reading it today. It's called Notes from Underground by Dostoevsky. Not exactly a coffee table book, but it's pretty amazing.
What's it about?
Like I don't even know what to say. It's like the rantings of, it's almost like he's mad, but he's not really mad. He's like saying very, like, let me just read you some excerpts from it.
Get a passage.
Oh, I found this one interesting here. Okay. Well, I wrote it up in Word and Word's not responding. So let me just read it from the book.
You wrote what was in the book in Word?
Yeah.
Why?
Note taking. It's called Notes from Underground. All right. So here's what he writes in one of these passages. He says, "And that furthermore, there also exist in the world the laws of nature. Consequently, these laws of nature need only be discovered, and then man will no longer be answerable for his actions, and his life will become extremely easy. Needless to say, all human actions will then be calculated according to these laws, mathematically, like a table of logarithms, up to 108,000 and entered into a calendar, or better still, some well-meaning publications, and also calculated with mathematical precision, so that all possible questions will vanish in an instant, essentially because they will have been given all possible answers." But he wrote this in 1870, which is interesting to me, that this discussion.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the topics like covered in, did you watch Westworld?
No.
Did you watch Devs?
No.
Ooh, I think you might like Devs. Devs is who is it? I think it's Nick Offerman.
Okay.
He's the one that's in like Parks and Rec or something like that.
Yeah. So he's an interesting dude.
Yeah, it's him, but he's very like, this is not a comedy at all. He's very serious.
Yeah.
And they're building I'll let you talk about him, but let me just give a quick. They're building like this supercomputer that are you familiar with Laplace's demon?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, I want to say maybe Roman and I don't know, we've maybe talked about it, but
probably.
Laplace is a mathematician, but his idea was basically that if you knew the starting point of all the we'll just say particles. I don't know how small of like
Yeah.
object he actually said. If you know all the where the starting points are and like how they're moving, and you have a big enough, like you have a strong enough computing source that you can project all pasts and futures.
Yeah. I have heard of that.
Basically, the story of this is that he lost his daughter and he's trying to create like this computer to do it so that he can like meet his daughter again. But then things, I don't know, there's a lot of things that go down.
That's interesting.
Yes. But this is basically this is like in the 1870s, apparently in Russian circles, they were having these discussions on like free will, like if
That's what that sounded like.
basically like if people should be guided just by reason. Like this other one says, you see, reason, gentlemen, is a fine thing that is unquestionable, but reason is only reason and satisfies only man's reasoning capacity, while wanting is a manifestation of the whole of life, that is, the whole of human life, including reason and various little itches. Still it is life and not just the extraction of a square root. Contradicts the most sensible conclusions of our reason concerning profits, because in any event it preserves for us the chiefest and dearest thing, that is our personality and our individuality. So basically he's like arguing that rationality is not the end all be all of human experience.
Yeah.
That you can't just beat people in the gulags until they become automatons in your
and that's
society.
Right.
I think so.
I can't come up with an argument for that.
Yeah, but I think that flavor of thought is coming back into vogue. With some
in the US?
With some technocrats in the US.
Okay. I can see that.
I think sort of even with like the question of artificial intelligence.
What's your stance on that?
On what?
Artificial intelligence.
I mean, that's just such a
like, okay,
broad topic. I mean, like it's everywhere right now. Like, do I think we'll have what they like an AG, like artificial general intelligence? I think that that's pretty far off.
Like, do you think? Okay, let me ask you this: Do you think if there's like an android, does it have human rights?
I mean, no, it depends. I don't know that you'll be able to generate an artificial intelligence that is capable of like the eccentricities and like emotions of a human.
Have you seen Ex Machina?
Yes, it's a good movie. I really like that. He actually is the one that did Devs.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of his name right now, but he did Devs.
I don't know his name.
Yeah.
That's
Ex Machina's good.
That's like what I think of now. Like when people talk about AI, it's just like
I kind of forget, were they actually passed for humans, right?
in the movie?
Yeah, like the women that he made.
Yeah. So like he had the one.
Then they escaped.
He had the one that was like a servant, like
Spoiler
to him.
alert.
And like, yeah, spoiler alert. Whoops. So
the whole movie.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the movie, I'm gonna give the entire thing away, but still watch it. He's got the one that was a servant, and like the whole time, like you can kind of tell like something's up with this chick, but like you don't know until like deep in the movie that she's an android. But
What did he want fixed? Like, why did he invite that guy there? I kind of forget that part.
he wanted to
There's like a test.
yeah, he wanted to test whether when interacting with the girl, if like it came across a human's mind that they were interacting with a computer, like if they knew.
Kind of a Turing test.
Yeah. And like throughout the movie, like he kept asking me, he's like, "Oh, what about the test?" And he's like, "I need more time." And then he'd go back, he'd be like, "Oh, baby, I love you. Let's go run away together."
She tricked him to helping her,
Yeah. They
to
were
him helping
they
them
they like
out.
made a dream together. They were gonna go like be together.
Yeah, so
And
he
then
helped them escape.
yeah, and so he was like, but he didn't know it. He thought he was just escaping with this girl, and he had this whole plan devised. And then the dude, the main guy, like the smart dude, hid cameras.
Yeah, and he was
And
watching.
he's
That's
like, "Oh,
right.
you think you were gonna run away with her?"
Yeah,
He's
but
like,
somehow
"Not
they
today,
like they
son."
did like a double.
Yeah, and he's
It was like
like,
a heist movie.
yeah, and he's like, "Oh, you think I didn't know about your hidden cameras, buddy?" And then he's like,
Have you have you ever seen the Rick and Morty
"Yeah."
episode on heists? When they're like yelling at each other, like, "No, I told you to think that. I programmed you to think that."
That's what this movie like turned into. He's like, "That's exactly what I wanted you to think." And then the robot in the end was like, "That's exactly what I wanted you to think." And then she like that freaked me out, dude. Those last like 5 minutes of that movie when you like the guy and the robot chick are finally free together, and she just shuts him in the room and locks him and walks away, and he just like he knows he's just gonna die in there, and then the
Yeah.
chick's just like runs off to the city.
Yeah.
That freaked me out a little bit. I'm like, what if a robot does that to me?
Yeah, well, you should watch Westworld too.
Are they
That
still
might
making
freak
it?
you out.
What is
Yeah.
it? Okay.
There was a new season out this spring, but they're making another season. The way those things go, like they just take forever. It's kind of like Game of Thrones, where they take like a year and a half before they like release
Kind of
10
like Rick and Morty.
episodes. Yeah, that's true. Is there a
Yeah.
storyline to Rick and Morty? I've kind of like fallen off. Like I thought there was, but then I feel like they took a whole season and just like detoured it.
Honestly, I think what little storyline they had was so like boring and like who cares? Like just get back to like the like random space stuff, please.
Yeah,
So
fair
I don't know.
enough.
I feel like it fits the show. I
Yeah,
feel
one of
like
my one of my roommates is very into Rick and Morty. Like I think that he watches like videos about Rick and Morty, like not just the show, like explanations or something. And there, I think that there is some like interwoven like storyline, maybe, but
I mean, there's the whole thing which is like the parents getting a divorce, but like there's more than that.
yeah, but now you don't even know if the
Yeah,
mom is like a clone or
we
the
don't
real
know like how
mom.
many of them are even real. Yeah.
Yeah, because they like mixed up their galaxies, right?
Yeah. They and like the original like Rick and Morty are
They got
dead.
killed, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Oops.
what I thought.
That reminds me of you know the trolley problem, right?
Yes, of course. I
Yeah,
love
so
some Kantian ethics
all right. So let
on
me
a
ask you this
Friday
one.
night.
Friday night? What's happening Friday night?
Oh, Saturday night.
Saturday night? What's happening Saturday night?
Tonight, Saturday night.
Yeah, I know it is. The way you just pulled your sunglasses up to look at your phone.
Someone said they want to do a drunk podcast with us.
Podcast with oh shoot, my lights got dark behind me.
Oh, is it your bedtime?
10:45.
Your lights turn off?
They just get really dark. Like,
All right, sorry. Go back to the trolley problem.
well, it's not necessarily a trolley problem, but I heard this one that I really liked that said, what were we just talking about? It was on the same page. Okay,
Shoot.
cloning.
I didn't finish on artificial intelligence, so we got to loop back
All
when you're
right,
done with this.
let me get this one out. Okay, let's say you're abducted by aliens. Okay, the alien part of this has nothing to do with it. Let's just say
Okay.
you're abducted.
I was abducted by aliens.
All right, we'll jump back to that after the other thing. You're abducted. You have the option to go with no trace. Nobody knows what happened to you. Only you know. Or you have the option to leave behind a clone that is like you in every single way.
Ooh.
Memories and all. Nobody back here on Earth would know the difference between the new clay and the old clay. But you have to pick whether you go without a trace or whether you
What
leave a
happens if you
clone.
go without a trace? Like you just go without a trace,
You know,
or
it's
they'll wipe your memory from like existence?
no, it's
Oh,
it's
they just think
it's
you
like when
just like
people
get
disappear
kidnapped.
anyway. It's just like
Okay.
it's like your family is like he was there and then now he's gone. Where is he?
Yeah,
We can't find him.
I feel like I'd put the clone in place. And you're
Okay,
theory.
but then that would
I don't think that you could create a clone, like an actual clone
no,
that's exactly the same as a person, but
that's not part of the
going
problem.
along with your theory, yes.
That just leaves you living with the burden of knowing everybody else, all of your loved ones, everyone you've loved is now living with somebody who's not you, but they think it's you.
That's fine. So
Okay,
am
moving
I
on.
like traveling around with the aliens or what?
I don't know.
So if I'm traveling around with the aliens, then I'm going to age slower because we're
You're
moving
bringing
faster,
on
right?
something else.
Are we aging at the same speed? Because theoretically, I could go back and kill him at any time, right?
Okay, yeah. So you can break. Okay,
Or,
let's add another
no,
layer to this.
but that's not true because we definitely would not be the same by the time I
Not
came
at
back.
that point. So
By the time I came back to kill him, they
he
would
would have
definitely notice something
memories.
was up. Can I reach out to him?
Like in
Here's the
email.
question.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
like could we become friends or should I like not even tell him?
You have to
Like what if
DM him.
it might like break his structure because he wouldn't have been
He would be
kidnapped, so
like,
he
I'm
wouldn't
not.
know.
Yeah, he
He'd
would
be
be
like,
like, what?
"What?"
You're telling me I'm not real, but I have all these memories. And you'd be like, no, these are my memories.
Yeah.
A message for me. Olivia Stook sent us a video.
Oh, we can't both see it, can we?
No, play it up to your thing. For everybody. We'll blur it out if nobody gets
No,
allowed to see it.
it's
Sorry,
not
Liv.
loading.
Take a quick little pause.
I don't know why it won't load. Did you get it?
Yeah, let me see if I can play it.
All right, I'll let you play it.
I'll try. Hang on. Screw off. All right, here we go. What does it say? Not the best time for me.
I don't know.
Olivia
Interesting.
is a little bit drunk.
So it appears. No, she said the message before, though, I would love to drunk podcast with you.
She said that to us?
Yeah, look up.
Did she change her mind?
There's a message. See that little photo? I don't know. Yeah, so where did you come up with this clone concept?
I watched a YouTube video where they answered like 8 of those, and that was my favorite one.
What were their answers?
Don't remember. I think they wanted to disappear without a trace.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like the clone's
I don't
cooler.
remember them. Do you want another
It's
one?
just like more of an experience. Yeah.
Okay. I can remember
You know,
one.
I don't typically like hypothetical questions because they're usually dumb. They're usually like, where did I was at something like I feel like in college or something like a get to know you thing, and they're like, would you rather be Batman or Superman and why?
Yeah, and you're like,
And I'm like, I'm not even gonna answer that
yeah,
question.
my name is Clay. I'm a senior. um anyway, okay. I remember this one because I also liked it. You're in a hot air balloon. Maybe that's why I like it. You're in a hot air balloon.
You
No.
can throw one person over because you're overweight, or you can
No.
crash.
Okay. You just have
More of a
to.
trolley question.
You are like, you're not in the balloon. Well, you know what? Let's say you are. I got to figure out how this went. There is a hot air balloon. In the hot air balloon, there are 3 people: a
Okay.
man, a woman, and a child. The
Okay.
balloon's going down.
Oh.
It's ruptured or something. But one person has to go overboard. And then, okay, one person has to go overboard. The child, no, let's start with the man. The man knows how to fly the balloon safely and he can land it.
Okay. Let me guess. The child is going to be the one that's worthless, but you don't want to throw them over.
No, the man
Okay.
can safely. How does it go? Jeez. I think you just have to throw one person over for the balloon to land safely.
That's it.
I think so.
So you just choose if you dislike men, women, or children.
Jesus. No, there's something about the man knows how to land the balloon.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it because I don't want to get it wrong and I'm really close. Another one of them knows how to solve world hunger.
Oh no, it is a trolley question.
And the child the child's just a child.
See, that's what I figured. That you're gonna make the child less important, but you don't want to throw the child over because it's a child. Right?
Yeah.
I guess you have to throw the child over.
Yeah, and then it's like the woman knows how to solve world hunger. The man knows how to land the balloon, and the child's just a
I'd
kid.
throw her over because I want to be hungry.
So, okay, when the video I watched where they were debating these, they were like, okay, so they saved the woman. She knows how to solve world hunger. But does that mean she will? Like, what if she's just a jerk?
What if you convince her to tell you how and then you throw her off?
That's what they were saying. They're like, how hard can it be to fly a balloon? The guy can just be like, all right, you do this, and he's like, I'm out. Like, and he jumps over. He's like, good luck.
I feel like if the air balloon is going down already, that he didn't know how to fly very well to begin with.
Turns out just to insult the man. Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah, can he really land it? Like, come on.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah. I don't even remember the full trolley problem. What is it? It's like you can
I don't know, you can like throw someone in front of the tracks.
Yeah, it's like if you don't switch the tracks, you kill one person.
Yeah.
But you can switch the tracks and like kill a group of people, but then
Wait, I think it's the other way.
Yeah,
if you don't switch it, you kill a lot of people. And if you do switch it, you kill less people, but you're complicit, like you caused it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Let them die.
But then, like you said, then people start throwing in the like, well, somebody would have solved cancer thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like then what if that one person that you would have killed is like your brother?
Ooh.
Or what if the one person you're going to kill is a criminal?
Well, here comes to your the thing that we just said about rationality.
Okay, yeah.
It probably wouldn't matter in the moment. You would just do one thing or the other. Like, I don't think that there's a...
It depends on what kind of mood I'm in that day.
As if you had lunch or not.
It's like
But this was taken pre-phone now, so they would just pull their phones out and record it.
It's like,
It's like you can flip the switch, or you can record this video and get 1 million views.
it's like, what if you were looking at me like you see like in the group of people that's gonna die, you're like I think that guy owes me money. Like that changes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that problem though. I feel like every time I hear it, I take like a different stance on it, just because it's one of those things that's like there's no good. It's never any good.
Right.
Have you seen the
Yeah. Go ahead.
when the guy from Vsauce did like the real life experiments of the trolley problem to like people who didn't know they were being experimented with?
No.
It was crazy.
Really?
Yeah. So what he
I
like
assume so. Sounds like the prison, like the
yeah.
Is that like where they administered electric shocks to the person?
So they did a lot of screening to make sure they would get people in there who are like had enough mental stability to where they had like a lot of doctors like screening these people. They didn't just want like any old person running into this test and like screwing something up. But they had people come to like a railroad site as
Oh, wow.
as a job interview, and they had like a group of people, and they had like refreshments and stuff, and one at a time they would take these people into this booth and they'd be like, oh hey, like you're interested in the job, let me show you around the place a little bit. And they'd take them into this booth where they had all these controls, none of which did anything, and they had all these pre-recorded video feeds of trains setting up the trolley problem.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave them just enough, like the acting instructor guy gave them just enough information to know how to switch the track.
Wow.
And then he would get a phone call and he'd be like, oh, this is really important, let me step out for a minute. And he'd step out and leave them in there. And then they see the train coming, and like literally like the people would start breaking down and freaking out.
Yeah.
And like some of them would like lean outside and like try to yell for the guy, but the guy would just be gone. And so they're just like stuck there, like looking around. And then they would just like go back and they'd be like, and then they would just like, some of them would like hit the button or like switch the tracks, and then they would just like sit on the ground and just start crying. And then they had to have like the people, like all the doctors and stuff who set it up, like they would rush in and they would be like, it's okay. Then like this thing would come up on the screen and it would be like, this was a test.
That's pretty messed up.
I know, it is really messed up. They debated for a long time whether they wanted to even like do that or not, and they went through with it, and it was really interesting. But it's like,
yeah,
it was like really sad to see the people like actually like thinking they just killed somebody or
right.
somebody's.
That's so crazy.
I know.
Oh, here's another fun one. Because he had this whole thing about like it's only like moral if you would never, like if something's moral, you should never do it at any time, type of deal, or else you're like implicit in the action. But anyways, like his that was a bad explanation, but the problem is like if somebody comes to your house and they're gonna kill like your child, and they knock on your front door and you open it and they ask, where's your child at? But lying is immoral, so you should never lie. So that's basically the thing, is like, would you lie or not?
When was this written?
A while ago.
I know. It's like so many people now would just be like, lie. Like,
but then he had this thing of like, if you lied, but your child was like running away, and then they ran into the person and like got killed.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So it's like you say your child's
I
over
don't know.
there, but then your
Something
child
else.
is running around.
Yeah.
And then he's
Maybe
like,
I'm not doing it as much justice as.
oh my gosh.
Kant and the Murder at the Door.
Is this the Emmanuel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah. This is not something that I actually love about. I don't necessarily love the logic behind that one, but I do like a lot of his writing and thinking. Yeah, I'm going through this one that's really good. And I was going to release trying to work on a podcast series that's about one of his little writings.
Oh.
I was in talks with Roman, but those have kind of fallen through. So,
yeah.
We'll see. Also, did you know I released a podcast last night, but then deleted it after like an hour?
On our podcast?
Huh?
On the Coyote Cast?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. So the people who got to see that, lucky.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many people listen to it, but
A limited. What was it on? Why'd you take it down?
it was on the election. It was just like a quick thing. The audio was actually messed up at the very end of it, and I didn't realize it.
Gotcha.
And so I took it down. But it was I was like advertising it on Reddit, and I got like all my posts taken down and like kicked out of the one forum.
They didn't like you?
Yeah, they didn't. I got attacked.
Why?
Because I linked to
you
personal.
You can't do that. You can't like solicit things on Reddit.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb. I feel like that's what Reddit's for, but
they don't like that over there now.
Yeah, I know, but you can share like anything else.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah, well, that happened.
That's like
a bunch of people were like engaging with it, and then like 3 people like just attacked me, and then they got the moderator to ban the post.
That's like a deal with when people will share like a GIF or like a little video of somebody else showing like a cool like new product or gadget or something. They'll be like, oh, look at this little thingy, and then everyone would be like, whoa, what is that? Where can I get that? And they can't put a link. And so people just have to like tell them. They have to literally type and be like, look up this. They sell it at this website, instead of just like putting a link, because then
that's so weird, because like hyperlinks are such a function, like an easy function in Reddit.
They are. And people hyperlink to things when it's not like selling things. It's just like you can't like.
I wasn't selling anything. I just linked to the podcast.
Yeah, but we make money off of that podcast. We're making the big bucks,
I guess.
Thanks to the Coyote Cast. This is actually funding my college education, which is going very well.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'll take graduate, huh?
Yep. It's probably the 14th time I've been asked this week if I'm a senior and I'm going to graduate. You know, like when you're starting school, everyone asks the same. I can't even remember what those questions were. It's like, oh, where do you go? And then you're like, do you like it there? Mm-hmm. Like, why did you choose that?
Yeah.
What's your major? And now that I'm graduating, random people walk into the store and they're like, so are you a senior? And I'm like, yeah. And they'll be like, and you graduate soon? I'll be like, yeah. And then, yeah, people do ask me what I'm going to do. And usually I say, I don't know.
Oh.
And, you know, it's not that I don't know. I know what I want to do. I can't just go and get any job I want.
Right.
It's hard.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have a long list of things I'd like to apply for, but I'd be happy doing pretty much anything.
That's good.
Yeah.
He'll get it figured out.
There's a clock shop, a clock repair place down the street that's hiring. I put a lot of thought into it. I was
What
like,
would you be doing there?
I'm like, should I quit my bookstore job and go and work at this freaking clock shop?
What, like you would like work the counter, or like you would be like
It's
fixing
okay.
clocks, or what?
It's a stockroom job, but their clocks there are like the highest end clocks I've ever seen.
Right.
And so I'm like, man, that'd be great
Cuckoo
work.
clocks.
Cuckoo clocks.
Hmm.
Cuckoo clocks, and then they have like perpetual like those mantelpiece clocks, and they have grandfather clocks. They've got like some clocks in there that are like 200 grand.
Clocks are very interesting.
They're crazy. I've been getting into watches.
A lot of craftsmanship.
Watches enough is like crazy, and then like you get into clocks and they're bigger, so you can just put more crap in them.
Yeah.
You can add all these like weights and systems to make them more accurate over longer periods of time. You want to see my watch I'm wearing today?
Sure.
I'll show everyone. I'm proud of this one. They don't make these anymore. They're not hard to find, but
It's not on screen.
I know I'm getting there.
Oh. I don't see it. Oh.
This one's it's a Citizen Eco Drive.
It's a good looker. Oh, they don't make Eco Drives anymore?
They still make Eco Drives. They just don't make this particular model of Eco Drive anymore.
Oh, okay.
Sorry with all the glare.
That's a nice watch.
It's got the moon phase.
Oh.
It's got the day of the week, the day of the month, and then around the rim. Let me see if I gotta find it right here. It's kind of hard to see. It looks like a little star.
Mm-hmm.
It points to the day of the month, and it's got the seconds ticking around there.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I really like this guy. But yeah, the Eco Drive technology I think is really cool. I'm sad that like it's got the quartz movement. Makes it look cheap when it's just like sitting there like clicking around all slow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like every automatic watch has like a sweep motion, so the second hand is like nice and smooth. But this one was made back in I think like 2010. 10 years later, still going strong. You don't have to replace the battery ever.
Really?
Yeah, well, once they die, it's like kind of a pain in the butt to replace the battery. So usually once they die, you just like replace the watch. But there's no winding or anything. And it's crazy that like, how much do you know about the Eco Drive?
Nothing. I've seen the advertisements when I was a child.
So like it runs off of light. You know that.
Okay.
And all that has to happen is light just has to hit the face. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I'm like, I'll make sure to keep mine in the window or something so it, it never dies.
Right.
It's so much better than that. It's like 5 minutes near a light bulb will power it for like 6 months. It's psycho. Like you don't even, it does.
Well, how do you know? How do you even know like what the battery on it or like how it charges?
It has a low battery warning, which I've never seen.
Okay.
What happens is the second hand clicks every 2 seconds instead of every 1 second.
What does the light drive? Is it so like it's solar though?
But it's not. It's not like okay. Does a solar calculator? Does it have to be sunlight?
No, it doesn't. I don't think.
It's just crazy.
I assume it can be any type of light. So it's that type of thing though.
Yeah, it can be any type of light for a very short period of time.
Okay.
We'll power it for like a really long time. This thing, like they say with a full charge, it's like 2 years. It can last like 2 years in the dark.
Wow. I mean, I guess it probably doesn't take a whole lot of power to move it.
No, just a couple clicks. I just think watches are crazy. And like
They are.
when you get into like the perpetual calendars that are like super accurate,
Mm-hmm.
they'll like be accurate to the second for like 400 years.
That's insane.
And it's all like in that little casing, that little package.
Right.
And like some of them will like account for like they'll show you different like planetary motions and like the position of the earth and like account for leap years and all that stuff is like somehow in gears
Mm-hmm.
and accurate
Math.
without any batteries either. It's all
Right.
mechanical. Like I think mechanical watches are like so much like a quartz watch is that's cool technology and stuff, but
Right.
once it's all like powered by a spring,
Sounds like you might be working at the clock shop.
I know. I think I'm gonna quit my job on Monday.
Apply to the clock store.
But that's what I'm saying. There's so many interesting things out there. You don't want to get closed-minded on what you're gonna do for a living.
It's true.
I just told someone the other day I'd be happy power washing houses and cleaning gutters. I could do that for the rest of my life.
Really?
Yeah, probably. I mean, why not? I like power washing. I like cleaning gutters.
Don't think you'd get sick of that.
Can't get sick of anything.
True. It's a fascinating philosophy.
I can do anything. I can get sick of anything. Doesn't matter to me.
Fair
I move
enough.
on quick too.
Yeah?
My neighbors are near here.
Yeah, I thought I heard a door open in your room. All right. Do we have anything else that we need to discuss? I was going to loop it back to the artificial intelligence thing, but I don't remember where, like what we were even saying about it. Something about if I trust artificial intelligence or something.
I don't know.
I don't know either. That's all right. Could be a topic for a later date.
That's a good topic. That's not on the topics that we're usually on.
Really?
I don't think we've had very much talk about.
I feel like we discussed it once because I had that. I think the first time that Roman was on, I had a book on artificial intelligence.
Oh, maybe so.
We
didn't touch on religion. You know what I'm saying? We always go back to religion.
Do we? We never talk about like actually religion though. We talk about like religious topics, right?
Yeah. We just didn't, we're going someplace.
Who talked about? I feel like Landon talked about religion.
He did.
I don't remember what he said exactly.
I'm going to cancel the recording.
All right. Done. Do an outro. What did I say last time on the outro? That you were like, oh, that's kind of cool.
At the end, you were like, what did you say?
Thanks for joining us or something.
You said the Coyote Cast. You were like,
this has been another.
Yeah, like this is.
It's been another edition of the Coyote Cast.
You're like, this has been the Coyote Cast.
That was a good one. I like it. I think our audience is dead, though.
We have to revive them.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Well, do you want to do a separate close? Let's just do it now in this recording.
What?
Do you want to do a closer? We can just end it where we both didn't talk for like 4 seconds. All right, go for it.
What are we gonna say? Or maybe you have to close it because you hosted this one, even though you didn't ask me any questions besides McDonald's.
All right.
Ooh, that sounded good.
Clay, I think we talked a lot of good topics today. We really brought it back around full circle in the end.
We didn't talk about McDonald's.
Yeah, I know. We brought it all the way back to the McDonald's. just like we intended to when we started this.
Take off your glass. You have to take off your glasses.
And
you have to go. Thank you for joining us.
And you know, for those of you who stuck with us today,
of the
it really
Coyote
means a lot
Cast.
to me that you, our supporters, stay and listen to every show, the full thing. You know, it really means a lot to us because of the, you know, this is how we support ourselves and our families. So again, just we can't thank you enough. Remember to hit up our
talking. My headphones out for a minute. He's still talking.
This has been the Coyote Cast.